welcome to the NSA Georgia website. Our guest speaker is Steve Rizzo. After being told by a guidance counselor that he didn't have the intelligence for college and having been saddled with the dubious high school honor of least likely to succeed, Steve didn't give himself much of a chance to emerge as anything special, much less a world-class comedian or motivational speaker. Years of negativity had led Steve to believe that dreams were the luxury of only a fortunate few. Perhaps the most unexpected aspect of Steve's career was the stellar degree of success he achieved as a performer, sharing the stage with Jerry Seinfeld, Rodney Dangerfield, Eddie Murphy, and Ellen DeGeneres. As Steve's friend and fellow comic Drew Carey says, he used to be a stand-up comic, but now he's a speaker who's inspiring people all over the world. Steve is also the best-selling author of the Writer's Digest award-winning book, Becoming a Humor Being, and special appearances include the Showtime special, Evening at the Improv, the Comedy Channel, and Fox TV comic strip Live. I'm impressed.
So am I.
Welcome, Steve. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
So how did you get started in this crazy business?
Well, towards the end of my comedy career, I started losing the passion of stand-up. I didn't like what I was becoming. I didn't like the audiences I loved. I loved making people laugh, but I noticed I was changing. Something in me wanted to do something else, and I didn't know what that something else was, and I was starting to go through some emotional changes, spiritual changes, and started reading a lot of self-help books. And I started going to a lot of seminars. And as the years went on, this stuff started just becoming a part of who I was, and I was at a Tony Robbins seminar. I'll never forget this. And I was just writing down the notes, and I went to put my pen down, and some force took over me, and this is really the way it was, and I started writing, "You could do this, you should do this, you will do this." And I wrote back, "That's it, this is what I'm going to do." And that's when I knew that I was going to make the choice and became a speaker.
Wow. So tell us, what do you speak on?
I speak to groups on how to be happy and successful regardless of what their circumstances are.
Okay. And so what type of audiences do you typically speak to?
All kinds.
Business,
sales groups, insurance groups, healthcare groups, government groups, education groups, because my message is a universal message.
Okay.
I show them how to acquire this attitude they need to succeed on all levels of life while enjoying the process, and everyone needs to hear that.
I agree. So has your 18 years in comedy helped you as a speaker?
Absolutely. Oh, yeah.
How is that?
And you know, it's funny, too, because when I got into the speaking business, I knew nothing about it. And there I was thinking I was going to be light years behind everyone. I mean, there I was at the pinnacle of my comedy career, and things started happening, and I leave to do something I know nothing about, but my heart said, do it. But that fear of, you're going to start all over again. But I realized as I started speaking that I had total command of the audience from the 18 years of doing stand-up, especially in doing New York City, Brooklyn, New York. If you could play those rooms, you can handle any crowd in the world. And I realized that it was that way I captivated the audience right away that I figured, you know what, this isn't going to be as difficult as I thought it was. And my first time going to NSA was at a workshop in Charlotte, North Carolina. A lot of people knew me from performing at their home clubs. And I was asked at the convention to speak to, I think, 200 speakers in the audience on how to add humor in their presentations. That's what I did. And everything just started snowballing after that. So it was pretty cool.
Great.
As a matter of fact, even now today, no matter what group I speak to, I do nothing, my first 5 or 10 minutes, I do nothing but make them laugh. And by doing that, there's a whole psychology involved. I see the audience relax, their shoulders are loose. They like me because you always like someone that's laughing, that makes you laugh. And then I hit them with the message, and they don't even know they're learning. They're having fun while they're learning.
Makes a big difference.
Oh, big difference, big difference.
Now, obviously, some of our audience are business people and some are speakers, but, a business person hasn't necessarily been trained in comedy, but how important is humor in delivering like a sales presentation or even in a business article?
I think it is important. I don't think it's as important to be able to tell a joke as it is to be able to lighten up and see the humor in things around you. I think that's what's really important, and that's mostly what I do when I speak to people. Because people will say to me, "Well, it's easy for you because you're a comedian." I'm saying, yeah, but this is not what I'm asking you. It's not important for you to be funny. It's really important for you to see the funny, to take yourself lightly, not to get caught up in yourself. And one of the things that could help you do that is your sense of humor. And if you could let that, I believe everyone, even the camera guy, has what I call a humor being within them. And your humor being is of your higher self. It's the part of you that brings out the best in you when times get tough. And what your humor being can give you more than anything else is emotional stability. And I believe today, especially in the past 10 years in this country, people are losing sight of that. We are becoming so serious and so politically correct that we're stifling our laughter genes and our humor genes. We don't know that, some of the things that we do to ourselves, that we can step back from it and look at it from a humorous perspective. We take things way too seriously. And that's what I try to let people know, to lighten up. And if you do, you'll succeed on all levels.
Good. So now, exactly why did you leave comedy?
I really didn't like what I was becoming. Partying too much, the business itself. I didn't like show business. As I said, I loved the audience, and that's what was tough. And I'm not boasting, but I was great at what I did. And to make it even more difficult, everyone kept saying, my peers, you're going to be next. You're the one that's getting the sitcom. And at that time, I was auditioning for that stuff. I had movie stuff, and a lot of great stuff was happening. And it was when I came home one evening, and my roommate was Drew Carey, and he had said to me, how did your audition go? And I said, it went great. And he said, where do you want to go for dinner? And something just came out of me, and I said, you do what you want. I'm going back home to New York. I can't do this anymore. And we had this argument, and I remember him saying to me, this was like a wake-up call, he said to me, he goes, you can't leave now. You're so close. And I went, close? To what? To something I don't want anymore? If you don't want it, you're not close. You're moving further away. So he said to me, you're not going to do that speaking garbage, are you? And I said, yeah, whatever it takes, whatever it takes. And I did. I notified my manager and my agent, my publicist. They thought, my manager begged me to see a psychiatrist. He really thought, and at the time I said, I am. He's not helping, apparently. And I just did it. The only one that got it was my wife. When I called her up, I was living in my apartment in L.A., and she was in our home in Long Island, and I said, I'm coming home. And she knew exactly what I was saying. I had no idea how to get into the business, but all these serendipitous things started coming my way. I mean, I could do a book on it.
Maybe you should.
Maybe I should. I just realized it. Maybe I should, yeah.
So, can you tell me, what is your biggest asset as a speaker?
My sense of humor. My sense of humor. I heard someone say, and I don't know where I heard this, today we live in the United States of entertainment. And I believe that as a speaker, if you don't have some kind of engaging, entertaining way to captivate an audience, you run a risk of losing their attention. Today, and I think you'll agree, everyone, the audience, they're twittering and tweeting and text messaging, and they have their computers and cell phones. It used to be a couple of years ago, a cell phone would go off and a person would be embarrassed and they'd quick turn it off. Now, they answer it in the middle of the speech. I mean, it's just, so, as if you don't have that entertaining value, you run the risk of losing the attention. And plus, psychologists are saying today the attention span of the average audience today is like 20 minutes out of an hour.
That long?
Yeah, I know. Maybe. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. So, and plus, I learned when I used to teach. I taught English in middle school. There's a challenge, and my sense of humor there was my greatest tool. My greatest tool. And my classes, for the most part, did extremely well in the midterms and in the finals because they were having fun while they're learning. One of the things that I get from my audiences, and I love this, because there's a big message with what I do. Their first response to me after the program is, my God, you're so funny. You are so funny. A couple of days later, I get these emails. I get Facebook messages and LinkedIn. you just turned my life around, or my, I realize now what you were saying up there. It makes sense. I tried this and it works. I can't thank you. That kind of a thing.
Wow.
But it's days after that the message hits because they don't realize they were learning something because they're having fun while they're learning. So that's the greatest compliment you can get.
Steve, thank you so much for being with us and taking time out of your busy schedule.
Thank you.
I want to shake hands with you like that. We've been talking with Steve Rizzo, comedian, author, and world-famous motivational speaker. I'm Diane Bogino. Thank you for joining us on the NSA Georgia website. Stay tuned because we'll be bringing you more great speakers like Steve Rizzo.